In these past 2 years in Tavshin Pei, even though it's been the longest battle Kimat that's been in this country, we've seen a tremendous amount of casualties when we look around at all the wars. They worked with a tremendous amount of intelligence, very swift, and a tremendous amount of siyata dishmaya to be able to get rid of all the ringleaders. Just now recently by the Chutim, they were able to knock off 20 of the heads of these headless people. The Hezbollah, as we know, they were picking them off one by one and being able to eventually get rid of the head of the snake of Nasrallah. We know by Iran in the 12-day war, on the first day, they were able to pick off a tremendous amount of the leaders and scientists. Syria itself filled to the waist ground, and they were able to completely destroy their whole entire powerful arsenal that existed in Syria. One by one, we had a tremendous siyata dishmaya that we were able to move quick, fast, and with a tremendous amount of an appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But there's a very interesting note that we have to point out. There's one front which I did not mention with, and maybe you've heard about it. In Gaza, there's a group of hoodlums known as the Hamas, and incredibly enough, we are still busy with them. You would think that after the head guy and a few others of the heads were kind of gotten rid of, that slowly but surely they would just kind of dissipate, go away, leave us alone and stop, but it hasn't ended. We are almost hitting the 2-year mark, and here we are still busy with them. We're going ahead and still battling them tooth and nail when all the other fronts have seemed to come to a halt. What is the difference? The difference is one word, what we call shvuyim, hostages. Just because of the fact that they captured those hostages and they were willing to give up their lives for it on October 7th, they tried to pull them over the finish line, to pull them into Gaza, and a lot of them were shot down. A lot of these hooligans were shot down on the way while they were trying to take them over, because they knew that having hostages was a game changer. When we were attacking Hezbollah, we had no inhibitions. We were able to blow up anything we wanted, and we could do what we wanted without any type of hesitation. Over here in Gaza, we have to go house to house, slowly but surely, tipping toe from one place to the next in order to avoid hitting any hostages. All these tunnels where we knew that they're hanging out, all you have to do, and they did in the beginning, was take a tunnel and start squirting it with water down and drown in the water so they'll all drown inside of there like a bunch of rats inside of a furrow. It would have been very easy, but we were worried about the hostages. They knew, and we know, that the hostages make all the difference in a battle. It's much harder to defeat a war, defeat an army, or to defeat another side when they're busy holding on to our hostages. This is what we see in the Orach Chaim in our parsha in the beginning. Ki teitzel milchama al oivecha. When it talks about going out to war on your oivecha, it says v'natnu Hashem Elokecha biyadcha v'shevita shivyoy. It talks about getting the hostages. Shivita shivyo, you will get back your hostages and even take some of theirs. But we see a phenomenon in our parsha about grabbing hostages, because sometimes that is what makes the difference, and you have to go ahead and grab back the hostages which you lost. Now, these words of ki teitzei lemilchama, as Orach Chaim points out, and many other of the Mefarshim, the Sforno and others, mention that the word natanoah is a singular lashon. It's individual. Even though we're in the middle of a war with a lot of people. Why is this an individual? Because they say that's the small war. The wars that we're familiar with is the small wars. The big wars is the war that's within myself. The battle that I have with my Yetzer Hara. The battle with my inclination to do something wrong, that's the battle. Day by day, hour by hour, newness by newness, always having a different front to find. And that is a very difficult battle. He makes you stumble, and Bezrat Hashem, you try to pick yourself up. He tries to put you away by making you do a sin, but hopefully we realize, oh, this is not really me, and you go ahead and you try to work on yourself. We're in Elul, Tshuva, Yom Kippur. We go ahead and make a difference and try to remove and clean the slate of what I did wrong. However, there's a much more powerful war that happens. V'shivita shivyo. When the Yetzer Hara captures you, you're in trouble. When he takes a part of you and he captures you as a captive, you're a hostage, then you should know your battle is big. It's much difficult. You are now fighting with Hamas, and not just with the Hezbollah, and not just, even though Hezbollah is much stronger than Hamas, and not with all the other fronts that we have to battle with. Because now when you're dealing with a hostage that is by the Yetzer Hara, you should know that you have to overcome that in a very difficult way. What am I referring to? What kind of captive does the Yetzer Hara get? One word. The word is addiction. When a person has an addiction, as the Gemara says, Hoil v'shanaba hutralo, suddenly it becomes permissible. Suddenly is attained permissibility. There is nothing necessarily wrong with what I'm doing. It's hard for me to feel that anything I'm doing is incorrect. When I stumble one time, I try to pick myself up, clean myself off, and move on. But over here, I realize that there's nothing wrong. What am I already doing? It's not such a big deal. Everybody's doing it. Why are you giving me bikaret? Why are you giving me criticism? Everyone's doing it. It's the thing that everyone does. If you know what? If I really wanted, I could stop whenever I want to say, whenever I would want. No problem. Sounds familiar? People who are addicted deny their scenario. There was a person who said, it's over. I've taken care, I have no problems anymore with technology, alcohol, gambling. I'm good to go. Leave me alone. No more criticism, no more working. It's already behind me. What? If anyone wants to challenge me, so send me a WhatsApp, and I'm willing to bet you a bottle of whiskey that I'm telling you the truth. Trust me that it's okay. A person who is sometimes immersed in his addictions has no way to get out of it. He is completely confined. He has no way of being able to remove himself from the situation that he is in, because he doesn't realize that he is in a situation. He doesn't realize the severity of the matter, and he just kind of gets used to it, and therefore it is that much difficult to be able to beat him, to be able to get him out. Shivita shivyoi. That's what it means when the Yetzer Hara grabs you. He takes a piece of you, and you're not able to wiggle yourself out of it because of the fact that you are so addicted and so locked up in yourself, or in your hitragu, what you call your addictions. Now let me give you a ma'isa that happened with Rav Shalom Shadron. Rav Shalom Shadron, of course, the great Maggid Rav Pesach Krohn, built his stories all from around him. Was one time walking to shul, and on the way to shul, he saw that a manhole cover was off. It was off. It was revealed the bore was open. The pit was open. And he noticed a few people around there. And while he was getting closer and closer, he smelled a scent. He got closer and closer, and it just got worse and worse, the scent. It was just getting absolutely putrid. When he got close enough to the bore, to the sewage system that's going downstairs, he had to completely close his nose out of absolute disgust from the scent that is protruding from this well from down here in the sewage system. But he couldn't believe his eyes. He saw a sight that just absolutely mummified him. As he passed by the unraveled manhole cover and looked down into the pit down there, and he looked down into the hole, he noticed that there were 3 guys there who were in charge of fixing up the system, cleaning it up, and trying to do what they do. Beseder, that's their job. And they were on a break. They sat down, the 3 of them, and they were eating lunch. They had some pita with hummus, a few cucumbers inside, and tomatoes, and they were eating and schmoozing away together down in this pit, which Rav Shalom Shadron was holding his nose as tight as possible from the absolutely horrific smell that was protruding from there. And he looked at this, and he was absolutely incredible. It was absolutely incredible. When he finally got home, he went and reported this story to his family members, his wife and his children. And he said, from here I learned an incredible thing. I'm sitting here absolutely disgusted by the smell, and these people are sitting and having lunch. They're making a picnic right around the biyuv, right around the sewer system. What's the difference? The difference is that they got used to it. They live by it. They swim by it sometimes. They go ahead and they work with it day to day. The smell just became part of their system. It became part of something that they have, and therefore it does not affect them at all. This is something real. Smell is something that's actual. So kal v'chomer, and for sure when we're talking something about conceptual, when I do something wrong, when I act incorrect, and I get to a stage of addiction, it's very hard to admit fault. If a person can't actually smell a smell that exists, then when I do something that's an action, I'm not willing to admit that I'm doing it wrong. Are you sure you're dressing appropriately? Or is it just the mode of dress that you got used to? Because everybody's doing it. It's just the style around. What's the problem? Why are the rabbis sitting on top of me? What's the big deal about this? Why can't I control my eyes or my fingers from pushing the wrong buttons? Well, it's just part of life. You know, it's just, they say a very large percentage, I won't say what percentage, of people fall into the wrong websites. You know, it's just a common phenomenon. So I'm not something out of the box. It's a norm. It's something that's not so bad. Okay, I got to work on it, but it's not as bad as you make it out to be. Why do you have such an anger problem? Well, angry is just part of my system. Leave me alone. It's just part of what's about me, and it's fine. And I don't really get angry. It's really her that's causing me to get irritated. It's really those kids that are making me bananas. Why are you not showing up to Minyan? Or why are you coming so late to Minyan? It's just something that's done. I'll try. If I really want to, I could get tomorrow. I will. I really do come on time. Just today I didn't. Okay, and yesterday. All right, this week I didn't come on time. All right, but you're right. For the past couple weeks it's been a problem, but I'm working on it. People are, Seder. Do you ever make a Seder? All these issues are issues that I can call. Sometimes I made a one-time mistake. Or, if you don't mind me calling an addiction, I'm not going to talk about an alcoholic addiction or a gambling addiction or the other addictions that we are swamped with in our generation. I'm talking about being addicted to doing something incorrect and not working on it. Because you're so succumbed to it, you're so surrounded by it, so suddenly you are trapped, you are confined. V'shivita shivyoy, the Yetzer Hara captured you. He's got you trapped and you can't get out of it. When we have to get those hostages out, you have to use violence. You have to kill Hamas and pull them out and have no mercy, no exchanges, no nice sweet talking like the leftists are interested in doing. You have to do exactly what we're doing, to go ahead and appreciate and say, I'm an alcoholic. I am wrong. It's hard. I am doing something wrong. I know that it's incorrect. I know that I can prove. I know that this is not something I should be doing. This is something I'm doing incorrect. I do it all the time, and it needs to change. I am addicted to my smartphone. I cannot stop. Every time my husband walks in, I'm on the smartphone. So he says, just get off. But I do get off. If I really wanted to, I could get off. But, I'm in the middle of a conversation. So what's the big deal? I am not really, sort of speak, addicted to my iPhone because I get off of it on Shabbat. I mean, sometimes when people aren't looking, I'm okay. Do you understand? A person's got to stop and do what they teach you in Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's the hardest part of the whole thing. I am an alcoholic. I got something wrong with me. Admit fault, and then you will be able to retrieve the shvuyim. You'll be able to get those captives not only out of Gaza, but out of yourself. You will be able to free yourself from the shambles of the Yetzer Hara that is working by convincing you that what you're doing is okay. As Rabbi Yisrael writes in Rabbi Yisrael, and with this I finish in one of his letters, the subconscious runs a person's life because that's just what's going on in your back mind. That's what you do, an automatic pilot. The point in the back of your brain, the subconscious is your automatic pilot. That's where you're doing it. Your avoda in Elul and the Seresh Beit Tshuva is to take the subconscious and put in the conscience. Make it cognitive. Make something that's not conscience that you're not conscious about and make it conscious. Make it cognitive. Make it real. So instead of being just an instinct, you think about it. You make a cheshbon, and with that you annihilate the Yetzer Hara. Because the second you're thinking, he has no stepping stone. He has no way of vanquishing anymore, because he can't get you on what I'm referring to as the addictions, because suddenly you're thinking about it, something you're understanding. This is not right. Something's wrong here. Something has to change. And B'ezrat Hashem, with that, you will be able to release the hostage within yourself, Shivita Shivya, and go back to the stage of being absolutely annihilating any problems that are within you. That is the key to the real tshuva. Shabbat Shalom.